Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and call to order the May 4th, 2023, 2:05 is the time p.m. Canvassing Board meeting being held here at our King County Elections headquarters in Renton for the April 25th, 2023 special election. I am Canvassing Board member Julie Wise, your King County Director of Elections, and with me I have Canvassing Board member Susie Sloniker, our Senior Deputy Prosecuting Attorney in the Prosecuting Attorney's Office, and Stephanie Serkovich, the Chief of Staff to the King County Council. We are staffed today by Geraldine Hampton, our King County Elections Ballot Processing Manager. This meeting is being live streamed via the King County Elections Facebook page, and it's going to be uploaded to our YouTube channel after this meeting. For our first item, Geraldine, please let us know what we're going to review.
Okay, thank you. This afternoon I have 13 ballots to present to the board for questions of voter intent. I'll go ahead and start with the first item, which is B-0001. We have one item on the front of the ballot. Our camera will autofocus here. So this is a question about messy marks and what is the vote. If we wanted to review messy marks, that's on page 72 of the voter intent guide. So essentially, which oval has more of the messy mark is the short version of the rule. Yes. And I forgot to mention, it's King County Proposition 1 is the contest in question.
I noticed it looked like the voter tried to circle the yes on each of them, or got more, a little bit more in the yes, so I would interpret that as a vote in favor of yes.
There's definitely more ink. There's no ink in either the rejected or the no, and there's some ink in the approved and the yes. So I would tend to agree with you.
The board has determined that this is a vote for approved. That's King County Proposition number 1, a vote for approved.
Next item is B-0002. It's the first contest on the ballot. So again, King County Proposition 1. Here we go. You can see there's ink in both of the ovals. Which is the vote? Or what is the vote, I should say.
And board, if we could, pretty please make sure to talk into our microphones so that the folks on Facebook and YouTube can hear us. Pretty please. Thank you.
This one's a little tougher for me because there's ink in both, and it's really right in the middle. I don't know that I would be able to confidently say it's a vote for one or the other.
I agree.
Board members, you said that you don't see any ink in either of the ovals.
Well, there's a little
That's
bit of
fine.
ink in both of them, and it's right in the middle of the two choices, so I feel like I couldn't tell you definitively what that intent was.
I'm just trying to determine if we should do undervote or overvote. Does staff recall when we've seen an oval in the middle that's touching a little bit of both, how the board has ruled in the past? Or does our board members have
If there was ink in both, we would probably do an overvote. If there's equal amounts of ink in both.
I think there's equal amounts
Okay.
in both, yeah.
The board has determined this ballot for King County Proposition number 1 levy as an overvote. Thank you.
Next item is B-0003. Again, is King County Prop 1 on the front of the ballot. We'll wait for it to autofocus. Pass it on.
think this one is the same as the last one. There's no ink in either, so you would count it as an overvote.
Yeah, it's just right smack in between, yeah.
I think what I'll do is if there's no ink in any of the oval, then we'll mark this as an undervote, meaning that there's no vote. And then an overvote is that there's ink in both. I think that'll be, so board has determined King County Proposition number 1 to be an undervote.
Thank you. Next item is B-0004, again for King County Proposition number 1. Autofocus, there we go. Some hash marks in between both ovals.
I mean, this is also, there's a little stray mark in the approved and there's a little stray mark in the rejected. It's mostly but it's, yeah, in the middle.
I agree.
So I think that would be an overvote, right? Because there's a little bit of ink in both.
Sounds great. The board has determined for King County Proposition number 1 levy overvote.
Next item is B-0005. Again, it's a question about messy marks. However, there is a check mark, but we don't know where the check mark started or where is the most of the check mark.
Is there any rule that specifically deals with check marks? Or,
Still seems on that page 72, right? Or 73?
Like 1A.
Oh.
right?
Yeah, if the main part of the check mark is clearly in one of the response areas, you would consider that the vote, even if the tail end of the check mark went into another response area. However, we were unable to determine where the locus of the check mark is, or the main
Right.
part of the check mark.
Well, assuming that the person started here, like drew the check mark like this, they started in the approved bubble, and it went down and it bypassed the rejected bubble completely and went back up into approved. So,
That's the way I saw it too.
this looks to me as a vote for approved.
I would agree.
Board has determined for this ballot for the King County Proposition number 1 levy a vote for approved.
Okay, next item is different. It's B-0006. It's both contests on the ballot, so King County Proposition number 1 and then Kent School District Proposition 1 as well. So we've got a target area filled out completely and another target area that has a little X in it. So do we consider this, is the X also a vote? Or is it a pattern of similar marks where the voter filled in an oval and that's the vote and the X is not a vote? We could look at Rule B, pattern of similar marks, if we wanted to do that. Let's see. Rule B isn't generally intended to turn marks into the ovals. Turn marks in the ovals into non-votes. However, because it's on both contests, it could be considered a pattern.
It's starting on page 18. Is that what, did you say Rule B?
Page 18, yes, is talking about the pattern of similar marks.
Mm-hmm.
Is there not a rule, because it's similar in two different spots? Do you know what I mean? The similar, it's not like they did one with an X, they did a similar in the oval and then a similar X.
Correct. So that's what we're asking really. Is this, one way to interpret it could be, this is the pattern of the way in which they vote, that they filled one in completely and the X meant that they didn't want what they X'd out.
I see what you're
Could be a pattern, but there's not a clear rule for us on that, because the rule about target areas, which is on page 2, tells us essentially if there's a mark in the oval, that is a vote,
Okay.
unless it's one of the exceptions.
Movie is mostly about turning things that are not in the law into a pattern, not so much about making things into what's not in the law.
I mean, they took the time to fill in the bubble, which is, you know, as the example on the ballot shows. I mean, they took that effort and, you know, that to me leans toward it's a vote for approved and a vote for yes.
I agree, and maybe interpret the X as a, I'm not voting in these two spaces.
For this ballot, the board has determined a vote of approved for King County Proposition number 1 and a vote for yes for Kent School District number 415 Proposition number 1.
Next ballot is similar. It's B-0007. This ballot has one contest, King County Proposition number 1, where the approved response area has an X through it, but the rejected response has it, the target area filled out.
I think
Thank
that's
you.
the same result as the last one.
The board has determined that this is a vote for rejected for King County Proposition number 1.
Next item is B-0008. Similar, but with a twist. Okay. So in this instance, we have the target area filled out, an X in the secondary target area. However, on the second contest, there's an extra X next to the no.
I would still count that as an approved and a rejected.
I agree.
Excuse me, yeah,
Approved
approved and a yes,
And a
excuse me.
yes, yeah.
Thanks, Sherilyn. The board has determined a vote for approved for King County Proposition number 1 and a vote for yes for Kent School District Proposition number 1.
Next item is B-0009. Both of the contests on the ballot, King County Proposition 1 and Kent School District Proposition number 1. Let's see, ordinarily X'd out bubbles are votes if no other bubble is filled in. The question here is, do the initials change that rule? Note that the X'd out bubble in Kent Proposition 1, yes, is a correction because of the vote for no. They crossed out the yes and then they marked the no. That would be a correction. But do these initials change our understanding?
And what's the, is there an applicable rule that we can look at?
Yes, so the X'd out bubbles is Rule D on page 40. That tells us when they fill in a target area and they put an X over it, it's actually a vote and not a correction. So that's on page 40 with some examples. There's also a rule about written instructions on page 44 that tells us when the voter tells us things, we can, if we understand what they're telling us to do, we can follow their instructions. So it's unclear if these are initials telling us to undervote it or correct it to an undervote for
I mean,
the
they're not
King
really
County proposition.
instructions, right? I mean,
They're just
supposed-
initials, yeah.
Yeah, it's not very instructive as far as it doesn't tell us much.
Proposition 1, do you feel like that, counting that as approved is appropriate, given the initials?
unless the voter thought, they filled it in, and then they said, no, I changed my mind, and then put their initials there thinking that that was, for me, it's too hard to tell. And then in the bottom one, it could have been the same thing except for, is it an X in the no, or is it a check
It's a
mark?
check mark. Yeah.
Huh. If they were both marked the same, I would say, my opinion would be a little more clear. If they did the same thing with the check mark at the top, I would say, no, they filled in the bubble, X'd it out, said I'd changed my mind, put their initials there, and then went with the other option. But because they didn't do that in the first one, it's just harder for me. Sorry,
On both. That's all
I'm
right.
adding ambiguity to all of this.
No, it's hard enough.
The-
Just as it came to us.
The initials are what threw us off. So if
Right.
we had no initials and you just had that, we wouldn't have brought it to the board. The first one, the proposition 1 would have been a vote because there's no secondary oval filled in. The second one would have been a correction, so the vote would have been for no because they crossed it out and then they made a mark in a secondary oval. The initials are what changed it, and we don't have a clear rule for that and made it confusing.
Can we split on this and say, like, for the second one, that there, I guess that would be an overvote, right? If there's ink in multiple places, and can we say something that there's no vote in the first one? Does that make sense?
So what I'm hearing from the board is that you're interested in making the King County Proposition number 1 an undervote. They didn't vote in it. Neither oval has a vote. And then for the bottom one, an overvote, that there's ink in both.
I don't know if that makes sense, if that, I mean,
It's a tough one, but I think that makes the most sense.
The board has determined that for King County Proposition number 1, undervote. Kent School District Proposition number 1, overvote.
So John, let me confer with John real quick.
Of course.
Were we intending to have them make a ruling on both of those? We were only asking
For
for the
this-
first one, but we put 2 red checks. We put a red arrow when we shouldn't have.
Okay. Because of the Rule D on page 41, you believe that the voter intent, even with the initials, is considered per Washington voter intent laws a valid vote for approved.
For the So we can leave it as is. I just was confusing my notes with
Okay.
the arrows.
Okay.
Yeah. What am I doing? Okay. Thank you for that. We are moving on to B-0010. Let's see. King County Proposition 1, is the check mark a written instruction to vote for approved? This voter has filled in both of the target areas. They lined out both the approved and rejected, and now there's a little check mark above the approved. So we don't know if they're trying to correct their correction.
I think the closest is to think that they were trying to approve the measure, because they put the check mark above it.
yeah, I agree with that.
A vote for approved. The board has determined for this ballot, King County Proposition number 1, a vote for approved.
B-0011, King County Proposition number 1. Is the X a vote for approved because the locus or the center is in the approved oval? Or is it a written instruction to undervote the entire contest by just crossing out the entire response area? Yes.
Yeah, although the intersection of the X is right by the approved, I mean, this looks more approved to me than anything
I
else.
agree.
The board has determined for this ballot, King County Proposition number 1, a vote for approved.
Next item is B-0012, King County Proposition number 1. Ordinarily, this would be considered a overvote per Rule A, talking about target areas being filled in, but it seems in this context that the check mark is the vote and the X is not. Should the specific check in one bubble, X in the other formation count as written instructions to vote for the check mark? There's a check mark and an X. See right there.
I think the check mark is the approval, if that's what I think it's an approval.
I agree.
Board has determined for King County Proposition number 1, a vote for approved.
Last item, B-0013. In the ballot packet, we did not receive a standard ballot. We did receive a note, and the note says, I didn't receive the paper to vote. The envelope did not have it. I'm sending this letter to agree and vote yes on this mental health support vote. There are rules about writing in a vote in the wrong place. That is on it's Rule P. Let me find out. Rule P, page 70. Which tells us if you write in a vote for a contest appearing elsewhere on the ballot, you can count it as long as the person has written like the office, position number, and political party if needed. However, this is a measure, so there's not a position number, and they didn't write out the verbiage of the measure exactly or the response exactly.
And this isn't on a ballot, right? This is on a piece of paper?
It's on a piece of paper in place of their ballot.
And it came in an envelope?
Correct.
Okay.
It came with a valid signature, an eligible voter in a ballot envelope packet. They're saying that they did not receive the ballot and this was being sent in their place.
Is that, I would imagine that's very uncommon for someone to receive a ballot in the mail with no ballot in it?
That is uncommon. We don't often get things in place of the regular ballot, but we do. Especially in larger elections, we'll get one or two. Sometimes we'll get in place of the ballot a voter pamphlet where they'll vote in the pamphlet and send that in place of the ballot. This was a little more, it feels obvious what they're talking about because they're
Right.
talking about the mental health support vote. But because it's not the exact verbiage, we wanted to bring it to the board for your consideration.
Geraldine, for example, like with the voters pamphlet one that was filled in, that was counted as if it was a ballot.
Correct. And we knew exactly what they were
Referring
referring to, so we don't bring those to the board unless there's something extra
I
about
feel
it.
like the voter was telling us what their intent was, so that it should be counted as approved.
I agree. It's clear, and if it came in the envelope,
Correct.
legitimizing that it's
The board has determined this as a vote for approved for King County Prop 1. Thank you.
And that is actually the list of our 13 ballots for your review. I'm ready for a motion.
A motion, I got it.
I make a motion for the King County election staff to count the ballots as marked.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We will be meeting again tomorrow to certify this April special election. But since this is our last meeting for this election in person with one of our canvassing board members that will has completed her service on the board, we wanted to provide you with a vote
Very much.
bag and cup, and thank you so much for your service, Susie. We've really appreciated you being here.
It's been an honor to serve with both. It really has, and to work with the staff and with Gerald, and I've really thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thanks, Susie. And if there's any further business, right? The canvassing board meeting is officially adjourned on Thursday, May 4th at 2:32 p.m. Thank you.